All right, what is going on, gamers? Christian here. We are going to do something a little different. I kind of was already wanting to jam some games, do a little prep for Baltimore, which I will be going to in a couple weeks for a standard MTG spotlight. And I kind of wanted to test the waters in doing some content similar to people doing YouTube videos on Moto, but I'm gonna try it basically in an arena format. I just gonna play some ladder best of threes. Uh, we're ranked 33 at the moment, so should be pretty good quality games. We also have the ability to switch up decks if we want in the future. Although today we'll probably just stick with a fun one. I got a nice little list of Sultai Reanimator that has been picking up steam, and my list is quite a bit different than other people's that you'll see, uh, which I'll get into here in a minute. But basically, I just wanted to get four, maybe five matches in, and instead of the more visceral setting of streaming where I'm kind of obliged to try to play the best that I can while also interacting with people, I kind of wanted to try this format where I can kind of just talk out loud, which is something that I like doing anyways. And I thought maybe that this would be a little more constructive for actually helping people's gameplay as opposed to just me trying to talk to chat while also trying to play the game and probably not being able to explain things as well due to time constraints or just being distracted, right? Uh, my own interpersonal dialogue, I kind of talk to myself quite a bit, anyways, in game. In fact, some of my close friends who have been opponents for me over the years would probably tell you I vocalize and talk to myself probably a little too loudly in some of my competitive games and give away a little bit of equity there. But I think that should be pretty good for this, at least. Uh, so, notable points about my version of this deck. Uh, Zeri, no ma'am. It's a bad girl. Uh, my version of this deck, I am not playing any of the insights, the Dredger's insights. I am also not playing any Esper's Origins. Uh, Insight's pretty low impact card. I think that you can get a lot of the same effect for more powerful cards. Town Greeter ends up being very important in this deck. Quite a bit more important in this iteration than Dredger's Insight could be, because one of your plans is to win with Harvester plus Vein Ripper combo. And Dredger's Insight, I think the life gain's like reasonably marginal. If you play against Red, which would be the matchup you would think that that would be most impactful, they might just Nemesis you anyways. So I don't actually think that life gain ends up being very valuable. And Esper Origins, I actually think Esper Origins is a fine card on its own merit. And you would think that this is a shell that it makes sense in. But I actually think that would be a little misleading. My take on Esper Origins personally is that it's better in a shell where you're actually planning on winning a fair game. So if you, in theory, were to play Esper Origins with like this shell, but also have a bunch of Llanowar Elves and like Craterhoof Behemoth type cards, I think in that shell it makes a lot more sense. But the Esper Origins as a 4-mana play that you put into your graveyard, I think is never going to win the game on its own with this current iteration. Now, that's not to say that a version of the deck that plays Esper Origins and Llanowar Elves and Craterhoof Behemoths and that kind of angle can't be very good also. I just tend to, at the moment, lean towards this direction of more of a one-turn combo kill, where you're either forcing your opponent to have a sweeper, or you're just going to flood the board with a bunch of gigantic monsters very early into the game. One card I did actually want to add before we get started, and I'm probably going to cut these bats to do it. Moyogen. There we go. I had this card played against me, and I thought, even though it didn't seem like it was particularly good in the matchup, I was playing Vivi, of course, which is the deck that I will be bringing to Baltimore. I could imagine a world where this card is like quite good against 4-color control or blue-white control, and it seems like a really important tool to have. So let's try that, and without further ado, let's get into some games. Standard is very clearly a problem at the moment. Not really sure what WotC's plan is as far as they've hinted in their previous articles, as everybody has said, that Vivi is, in their opinion, the problem card. Not entirely sure I agree, but there's no doubt that the shell needs to change. The power level of what Vivi is doing compared to everything else in the format is pretty egregious. You could argue a deck like this that we're playing now is equally as powerful, but its level of consistency is just very, very different. All right, an easy on the play and an easy mulligan. Yeah, this is fine. We will be putting back the Vein Ripper, just because I think we want to leave access to the Harvester for a removal spell if we play against a deck where that's relevant. And I think having access to the Bringer is just more important than the Vein Ripper. There's obviously a world where that could not be true, but I think just on average our deck relies on putting Bringer in the graveyard more than anything else. Starting off with a nice little time lead, imagine that. Ooh, and we're back. Opponent keeps their 7. We're going to keep our 6, throw the Vein Ripper back as discussed. And this starts on blue. And we have access to the passage on green if we draw a Greeter. So we're just going to make our passage a swamp. Let it go into play tap. Another notable thing that I meant to mention about the deck beforehand, I'm actually not playing any of the Surveil lands. I for sure recognize that they're pretty powerful in a shell like this, but I'm kind of the belief that you want all of your lands to come into play tap. That's just kind of like a deck building thing that I prefer. Obviously, something like Modern where you have fetch lands, it's a little different. But in a deck like this, as good as the mill aspect from Surveil has the potential to be, in general, I just want to make sure that my lands are coming into play tapped, or at least have the ability to if I need them to in that situation. Alright, so we're going to take damage here no matter what. It looks like we're probably playing against a Kona deck. We don't have a very good answer to Kona, especially if it's the Omni version that's going to win the game on the spot. That could be pretty problematic. I don't think there's anything that we're looking to Overlord for. Unless we were hoping to get lucky on just like casting our thing on next turn. So it's probably better to get a Scholar in play and get the guaranteed Bringer into the graveyard. Right off the rip, I feel like this is going to be a tough game 1. We don't really have a lot of ways to interact if they're just playing a Kona next turn. We only have the one better Triumph. I think I'm supposed to not tap my green source, right? Arena trying to grief me a little bit. I guess maybe I'm supposed to play my land because of Exile, but I'm sure, yeah. I mean, they almost certainly have a dragon. I mean, I guess it could only be Meringue. But, yeah, maybe I'm supposed to play my land first there. I mean, I almost certainly am, right? Alright, I think that's a bit of an early blunder, potentially. Beast. Is it Kona time? It is Kona time. Ooh. Little Platinum Angel effect. Alright, well, we can beat that. That's beatable. Add for each. Add for each. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we're probably looking to just take 10 next turn and try and draw a spider. Doesn't seem out of the realm of possibilities. I don't think there's much reason to try to do anything else. Oh, ho, 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 ho. We just got. That is a problem. Wow. I did not see that coming. Tough. I wonder, am I supposed to play around that? I didn't even realize that that was an option, if I'm being honest. Alright, well, no meringue, unfortunately. Maybe that keeps us alive. They're only representing 7 at the moment. And then presumably I can Harvester to save some damage. So it's... I would need a blocker, though. If they remove the Steam Core Scholar, then we're 100% dead. Alright, let's discard the Bringer, play land, and ship it on back. If our opponent doesn't have a way to interact with the Scholar, we get to live. But I'm not sure that that's going to be good enough regardless. They've drawn 6 cards between last turn and this turn, so surely the Kona is going to be able to close it out from here. And he's just passing. I don't think it makes a lot of sense to... Oh, I actually should have killed... Interesting. Do I want the Harvester in the graveyard? I would lose both my Scholars. So I actually think the answer to that's probably no. Alright, let's just untap and draw. Bringer is not going to do it. We could do 3 bounce, bounce, block. Yeah, so I could have, in theory, killed the elf and gone bounce, bounce, block. But I think none of that was actually going to work. Alright, now we get to go to the sideboard, which I imagine is going to help us quite a bit. We get Bitter Triumphs, we get Myogens. Bat's probably pretty good here, and then Stroke is probably pretty good here, even though they have Cavern. Do we want Duress? Doesn't get Meringue, doesn't get Kona. I think Duress is actually just probably a miss here. I think it probably just doesn't do enough. I don't think we want Reclamation either. I think if they have any hate, I think we just rely on Awaken. I think that makes a decent bit of sense to me. All right, so this is a matchup where I don't think we're leaning on the Vein Ripper Harvester combo as much. I think we can probably pretty reasonably take out 2 of those. And 2 Vein Ripper. Probably looking to trim our Meringue. I don't think we're going to be having a lot of interest in bouncing their permanents either. Go ahead and take out the Fate Weaver. The Fate Weaver is a card I think you should probably, in most spots, plan to board it out. Games just tend to get slower in sideboard, and this is more of an outlet for the type of card where you want to play a turn 2 mill into turn 3, go find Kavaro, turn 4 play Kavaro, or Spider-Man in this case for IRL purposes. But I think in most sideboarded games, you're just going to want to slow the game down and have more interaction. I think we probably have to take out another Vein Ripper. Yeah, I think it's Vein Ripper. In fact, I kind of think I'm supposed to cut Arden here. All right, so I'm actually going to try something slightly different. I'm going to cut one of our discard outlets, and the logic here is they do have Llanowar Elf in their deck, so even though I don't think Harvester is like a slam dunk by any stretch of the imagination, it clearly doesn't interact with Kona. I think the fact that it's still part of your combo kill when you're trying to win the game is valuable enough, and having it to kill the turn 1 elf is also pretty valuable. So we're going to run it like that. This is a keep. This hand is definitely good enough. What are we leading on? What are we leading on? Probably just leading on Overlord. I don't feel like there's much of a reason to play the bat early. I think I want to play the bat on turn 4, give our opponent the most opportunities to have put a Kona into their hand if we haven't drawn a Bitter Triumph by that stage of the game. Oh, there's Kavaro. No other thing to put into the graveyard off of it, which is not ideal. We also don't have a lot of great things to discard to the Scholar at the moment, but we'll make do. All right, let's jam the Scholar in there. Hopefully find some fatties to discard. We didn't, but the Bitter Triumph is actually pretty good, so we're not going to be that unhappy with that outcome. Let's discard a Passage and a Harvester, since we are past the stage of the game where they're going to be trying to Llanowar Elf us. Most likely. And then next turn we get to bat plus it on Bitter Triumph, which I think should be pretty good. Authority is interesting. I don't think that's a good card for our opponent to bring in. It doesn't feel like it. Like, they would gain a lot of life if I was winning the game with the combo, but I don't think that's the way the game is supposed to play out most of the time. I don't think that this is a card I would be interested in boarding in if I were them. And I certainly don't think I'm planning on using Awaken for it. But I'm probably pretty interested in playing Awaken next turn, no matter what, just for the effects of the card. The secondary stages on the Saga. So I might blow up the Authority next turn, but I think for right now our play is pretty linear. I think we're just going to jam in, play Bat, leave up our Verge, and then we're just going to play a land and sit on Bitter Tea. Yeah, we don't care about Counterspell. Their hand is obviously terrible. This is an easy stock-up angle. Their hand is really bad considering they've drawn 4 cards. That's pretty surprising. We are going to pay the life just because we want to make sure that we can beat a top-decked Kona. There's no reason to give them a chance to top-deck a card to beat us when we've got the answer. And the 2 damage is going to be irrelevant here, most likely. Boom, boom, boom. So we can play Awaken this turn on Authority, and that's just for sure what we're doing. Not really sure why they would be interested in exiling here. That's their only option. I don't think that's very appealing. Because they could just wait until they have 6 mana if they draw Kona in the next 2 cards and exhale that way. I don't think there's any reason to try and tap me out this turn. But they were concerned about something. Lots of lands, lots of lands. No fatties either. We are going to get to attack with Overlord next turn, though. That's pretty appealing. We also could just play Kavaro for Meringue and bounce my Awaken, but I think I don't have any interest in doing that. I think we're just going to pick up the Meringue next turn and plan to use it as a spell. We're not in a rush. And I think we have enough pressure with the Overlord coming in that we're kind of just chilling. I think we're going to pay the life here. Like I said, I just don't think the 2 damage matters. And because they have Exhale, I think it's not that hard to imagine a world where they draw, like, Kona plus Dragon, and I want to be able to pay 4 mana. It's all unlikely, but I think the opportunity cost is low enough. Ooh, that is a good one. Well, we're going to do that because that gets around card draw. Oh, they didn't even make us show them. We were definitely going to Miojin them, though. We were going to get them real good. All right, I don't think we have any modifications we want to make. I think this all still makes sense. I don't think there's any card in our sideboard that we're leaving on the table that we want. I don't think Heritage Reclamation for Dragonstorm or Authority is something we care about at all. In fact, I would probably think they would be rethinking the Authority. I do not think Authority is the direction they want to fight this matchup in, but I could be wrong. The only card I want access to is the 4th Scholar. But I don't really see anything that I'm willing to cut for it. So I think we're just going to leave it as is. We don't need it quite as badly because we have extra Bitter Triumphs in this matchup to discard potential fatties. Our opponent kept... This hand is not great. In fact, this hand is quite poor if the opponent has a Cavern. But the fact that we have Miojin means any discard outlet kind of wins the game, no? I'm going to try keeping this, but I respect that I don't actually think this hand is great, because we also just don't have a black source. Elf is a little... Alright, well that fixes our mana at least. That fixes our mana. So yeah, we're just living in fear of, oh, turn 2 stock-up's pretty good. Yeah, we're still looking for a discard outlet. We don't have to worry about Kona next turn, because they can't play Kona and have a way to tap it. So we have an extra turn reprieve from that if they hypothetically have Cavern. Second Kaviro doesn't do anything. I think we're just, playing our land and passing. And at least now we have Stroke up, although I don't actually think we'll probably Stroke anything here. I can't think of anything that they would play that I would have any interest in playing Stroke on. Best draw that we're looking for right now, given the fact that we're getting a little bit of extra time, I was going to say would be like a Meringue, a way to discard this Miojin. Well, they're not playing Kona again, so that's nice. They're giving us time, at least. They're giving us some time. Yeah, we want meringue. That is not a meringue. So now, if they have land, Kona, exhale, we get got. But I don't think we can justify... I don't think that's a good enough reason to not play the Town Greeter. I don't buy it. We got to go for it. We got to play our spells. We're pretty far behind on tempo since we hadn't played a spell in the game yet. So I think this is just a calculated risk that we have to take. Nothing interesting. Probably just taking the Cavern. I mean, I guess I only have the one blue source on stroke. Yeah, I'll just take Breeding Pool. It's fine. I've already got all my black sources for Vein Ripper. I don't care about Vein Ripper getting countered. I don't think I would have been naming Vampire Assassin anyways. I think if I took the Cavern, my plan would have been to name Spirit. Oh, Dragon. So does that mean we're just playing Meringue? I mean, we can beat that. We can beat Meringue here. Our hand is still terrible, obviously. We haven't really had any action going, but if they're not on the Kona plan and they're on a Meringue plan instead, I mean, Myojin beats Meringue. They're in the tank. What are they thinking about? We know that they have Meringue because you don't name Dragon otherwise. So they're thinking about reasons that they would not want to cast the Meringue, which leads me to believe that they have... I mean, I don't know if one single exhale is a good enough reason to sit on Meringue, because they might be thinking they can exhale something for 4 plus Meringue to draw cards. I don't know. That's tough. As it stands now, I think we're just playing Watery Grave and passing. I could... I mean, we're for sure attacking. Give me that point. Give me that point. Putting both of them in the graveyard would be pretty interesting because I actually do think I would be interested in maybe next turn playing Kavairo on Town Greeter to just get some gas in the graveyard since we have a duplicate copy. But as it stands right now, it looks like they're just meringuing to draw cards. Yeah, I think that's fine. I don't really have any interest in stroking that. I mean, if they get us with the... I mean, they've drawn a million cards, right? I think... This game has gotten away from us. I would expect them to be able to stitch the combo together from here. But they had a pretty bad hand last game, so you never know. I mean, the deck can absolutely miss. And we're kind of at the point now where we're in a lot of danger. We need to draw... I mean, we need bitter... Oh, so they could go for it now. Yeah, they found the tap land. Looks like they're not going for it, though. Damn, another land... We're really missing our opportunity. If we had drawn like a Bitter Triumph this turn, we really could have just won the game outright. That's a shame. Now, we still have more outs if we're not just dead next turn, but I think we're pretty likely to be dead next turn. We've done all we can do. I don't think playing Kavairo makes a lot of sense. I would rather just sit on untapped mana. And them playing Elf means I think they're probably not going for Kona again. Very interesting. What is in their hand? What is in their hand? This is crazy. Meringue's a good draw, but I think I'm... passing. I don't think we're main phasing anything. If we had one more mana, we could main phase it, but I think think we're just chilling. Our opponent is setting up something. They might just be trying to play Omniscience 3, 8. I'm not sure. They're not going for it, though. Wild game. Wild game. Well, we're going to go for the thing. We're definitely going to go for the thing. They could have Heritage Reclamation. That would stop us. But that's kind of it, right? There's no way we're going to win this game, is there? There's no way. Yeah, I mean, Heritage Reclamation is the only card I think that stops us here. At least that people would be playing within reason. The fact that they're letting their timer run down this much means we're probably in the clear. And then, assuming, let's go ahead and start thinking ahead. Assuming we're going to get to Kavairo the Miosian. Remove the counter. Each opponent discards their hand. So I'm just supposed to wait, right? There's like no reason. I can just stop in their draw step, yes? It's not like a sorcery only thing. Been a while since I played with this card. Alright. Good enough for me. Hit him with the draw step, discard your hand. Yeah, and I mean, this prevents... So we're... Yeah, that doesn't do anything, though. I mean, they can... I'll let them draw and discard. This way here... I mean, the nightmare scenario was basically... Once we got this far... Was just... Have them untap the next turn... And draw Meringue, because that gets them all the cards back. But I don't even think that would matter. I think... We just kind of have all of our bases covered. You know? I think we're in the clear. Yeah, I mean, literally just Meringue off the top is really the only thing that is a problem now. Can we can copy Herald? That's probably pretty good. I don't think there's any reason to copy anything else, right? And I think that's probably better than playing Vein Ripper. 4, 5, 6. There's no way for them to have multiple cards. So I could just Town Greeter first. But I don't think playing Town Greeter does anything. Like, what could I hit? If I were to hit any of the cards that are left in my deck, would I Kavairo them? And I think the answer to that is no. Yeah, I think we're just gonna... Kavairo their big dog, their Platinum Angel. And send her on in. Yeah, and I mean, we're pretty much... I think we pretty much have our opponent down to Meringue or bust. It feels like Meringue or bust to me. Oh my god, they drew Meringue. Just no justice. Wow, well. The game gets to keep going, unfortunately, for us. That's tough. Kona and Voice. So if I copy Kona, then Voice would be the only thing that comes back. That's reasonable. So I probably am interested now in playing Kaviro and removing their old boy. And then, am I playing the other one on the voice? Because I still want to leave mana up. For 8. I could also just play Bringer now. Is playing Bringer now good? I let them put Kona into play? That seems scary. I think I should just remove it first. Let's lead on Town Greeter. Because my life total is still safe. I'm not worried about taking the 6. Meringue is good, but I don't think I'm bouncing Meringue this turn. Or, I don't think I'm copying Meringue, I mean. 1, 2, 3, 4. This leaves us 4 mana up. Yeah, I think that's good. And let's go ahead and remove this Kona. And then we should be in the clear next turn. Yeah, I don't think I want to meringue. I think I just want to sit on mana. This is chill. God, I can't believe they drew the meringue in their 1-turn window. That's tough. I mean, I kind of feel like we should have lost the game forever ago anyways. Okay, well, they're doing stuff. They are definitely doing stuff. So they will only get a voice back on this bringer. We're not getting a ton either, though, to be fair. Another Dragonstorm. Not attacking with Moraine. God, we drew another land. So lame. So lame. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Four, 5, 6, 5. I'm short from being able to just win the game off of Vein Reaper Bringer. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 4, 4, 6, 7. So I'm 1 mana from doing that. 4, 5, 6, 4. Really tough turn. Really tough turn. Basically, it's so easy for us to just lose the game, unfortunately, now. But I don't think playing Bringer does anything to stop that, because they just get to bring Voice into play anyways. I am at least going to attack, because if they kill it, then I get to bring it back. So now I get 2 meringues. It's not nothing. Yeah, it's probably just got to be 4 and 4, 2. And then I just get to keep up Disdainful Stroke. It's not great. It's not great. Alright, so... No, I mean, I guess leaving up Stroke doesn't actually do anything. Voice, my graveyard. Oh, I just get their meringue. Oh, wait, did I? Oh, no, yeah, it's Kaviro that releases it. That doesn't work. I think I'm just copying their meringue. I could, if I copy their voice, does it remove? Let me read that real quick. When you do exile that card. I'm going to target. I don't think it works this way yet because it's already in play. I was reasonably confident that didn't work. But we're just going to bounce both of those. Alright, unfortunately that was the best that we could hope for. With the logic being, they're just, if they have the combo, they're just going to win anyways. But this gives us the ability to at least threaten lethal. Because the Murray in their graveyard, we can just double bounce a bunch of shit if they don't combo us. Feels like they should be able to combo us, though. I mean, they just have to lead on... Yup, the voice. Yeah, I mean, it seems like it should be pretty easy. Oh, they're just jamming a meringue. Interesting. And they can't even replay the Dragon Storms. I wonder what they're going to bounce. There's a world where we could maybe just lethal them. I think we are going to lethal them. So... if they bounce our two fatties... oh, we might actually just win no matter what they bounce. Now that I'm looking at it. Because we can Kavairo their meringue. And we can also just play Vein Ripper, which is guaranteed to proc at least twice from the tokens on our voice. So I think we win the game now since they did that. What a wild game. What a wild game. Because they're just going to play Llanowar, yes? Yep. Oh, they did bounce the thing. So that was good for them. Is that... what does that do? What does that do? 7. Do I have any way to kill... I should, right? 5, 6, 7, 11, 12 mana. So that's enough mana to play Vein Ripper, activate Harvester, play Cairo on Harvester. So yeah, that should be the game. If I have done my math correctly. Right? That sounds right to me. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's crunch in. I think this is right. Yep, he of course does that. And then we... bink, bink, bink. Oh, I'm going to be 1 point short. Fuck. I was thinking I was going to get to kill one extra thing. Damn, 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 damn. 8. That doesn't work, though. And then that doesn't work either. Yeah, I mean, they have a million Dragon Storms, but I think this is just... you do what you gotta do. There had to have been a way to win the game that turn. There had to be. There's no way there wasn't. What if I meringue their meringue, put them to 5, and then play Vein Ripper? Nope, that still doesn't do it. I could have attacked, maybe. They find Omniscience. Yeah. What a wild game. I assume we lose from this spot. I assume we lose from this spot. Wow, they missed. What a wild, wild match. Completely preposterous. I mean, we basically had no business winning that match, realistically. All right, we go again, we go again. I think that there were a lot of decisions that I made that match that I would want to fix going back. I think some of the overall plans were pretty good. I think some of the execution there at the end was not good. This hand will do nicely. I don't think it really matters which one I lead on. I'm probably more likely to want to Overlord next turn. So in case I were to draw an untapped land and I'm playing against red or something, I think it's marginally better to play Passage on black. Oh, is it just a mirror match maybe? Or the Auraboid deck? Oh, it's the Auraboid deck, I think. Alright. Let's get it rocking. Interesting. I think I'm pretty likely... It's very interesting. I think because I have this second Overlord, Town Greeter is the correct play, even though the mana lines up pretty easily for both. I think I'm very likely to just play Awaken next turn anyways. And then I can Town Greeter plus Overlord the next turn and get an extra, like, 12 looks. 13 looks at Kavairo. So we just mapped the Pollinator right away because he kept a one-line hand. Well, that's going to be bad for our friend. Because now we're just going to kill the Pollinator and they have no resources. And we drew Kavairo. I don't think we have any interest in doing it. I mean, we could... We could just Overlord, but I don't think that's good enough. I mean, it is absolutely good enough. The question is that the right play? I guess, like, I wouldn't want to find Bringer anyways, because I wouldn't want to give them the Elf. So yeah, this is, like, probably good enough, and then I just Overlord afterwards to try and find more action. I can buy that. I can get behind that. We're looking for, I was just going to say, we're looking for Harvester here. Harvester is the thing that slams the door on the game. I don't even know what this card does. Okay. Our opponent is dead. I guess he was hoping we didn't have a land. Do I even want to do that? To return a creature or land? Sure. I'll discard something. Our opponent's seen enough. He was going to lose all of his permanents. Alright, so we are playing against Ouroboros. I think we just want the removal, yeah? This is... I don't think anything else is particularly interesting. Yeah, let's get the extra removal in. I do not think that this is a Fate Weaver game. They're pretty fast. Don't really think you can rely on the 3 mana that cost you. Like I said, most of the time I think you should plan for sideboarded games to go slower, have more interaction. The Harvester Vein Ripper package is quite good here. This is probably a -1 Ripper, -1 Arden. And I don't see much cause for wanting to change anything else. This looks pretty lean to me. I could imagine a world where maybe you want to cut a meringue instead of the Ardent or the Vein Ripper. But I like meringue. Like I said, games are going to be slower. I think you kind of want to plan to maybe be able to get the card draw effect out of it. Ooh, easy mulligan. I think this is going to be a mulligan to 5. We can't cast any of our spells. Hand's not particularly good even if we draw lands. And I also think this deck just mulligans really well. So, not upset about that at all. Yep, this is going to be a Sneep. And no bringer. No, it actually could be keep bringer if we thought we're going to draw away to discard. I actually think that's probably slightly better. So we just get rid of these. Yeah, I actually think that's quite a bit better. This way here, a Bitter Triumph or Steam Core Weird is a big turn on. Innkeeper's Talent. Interesting. We did draw the weird. That's very good. It's very good. It's probably... It's a little interesting. I would like Cavern, but I also can't play Awaken off of the Cavern, so I think it's just got to be Passage. It's a little awkward that I have to take the damage for it as well, but I don't think my life total is under that much pressure. They drew their land. 3. I probably... Let's see. Is there any world where I play Awaken instead of Scholar? What does that do? What does Harvester do here? It probably just has to be Scholar, no? Because, like, if I play the Awaken and kill the Talent, I still just get absolutely murdered by an Ouroboros. I think the Scholar gives me the best chance to draw a Kavaro. And it also just gives me chump blockers. Yeah, I don't really see it being anything other than... Because there's nothing that I would want to blow up with the Awaken, really. Blowing up the Talent is nice, but I'm kind of have to deal with the board right now, so... Let's jam the Scholar and hope the top of the deck is good to us. Do I need to put both Bringers in the graveyard? Yeah, probably. And we're chilling. So our play next turn is... Yep, there's the Ouroboros. So we are in danger. We are in danger. So I think we're taking the 7. And then we have 3 blockers next turn. Oh, so we're just dead, yes. 5, everything gets 5. Yeah, it looks like we're dead to me. Our opponent seems to think so as well. With the aggressive... Alright. +4, +5. Yeah, it looks like we're dead to me, but I'll make the opponent do it. No worries. We'll make him do it. Haha. It's a big boy. I mean, we were dead anyways. Because they could just put the counter there first. 5. Oh, yeah. Everything is gigantic. I don't think there's anything different we could have done that game. I mean, our Moldify functioned pretty well. I mean, did they Moldify also? I think they just mulliganed to 6. I think both decks just functioned really well that game. I don't think there was any issue with anything that happened. Turning point, slightly. I could have been 2 points higher in life total if I had taken the first Cavern. But that wouldn't have been relevant. It could have been relevant. But they ended up having the second Ouroboros, so it wasn't. It's not really a good way to look at it necessarily, but... this hand is fine. I do think you keep it. It's certainly not anything special. It's got the answer to their Mana Accelerator, which is nice. 2 answers to the Mana Accelerator, potentially, but... I'm not sure that I would want a Bitter Triumph, a second Mana Dork, and then just potentially lose to, like, an Ouroboros. Elf, go bye-bye. Second bringer was, of course, a completely horrendous draw. They're probably throwing the Llanowar Elf back, I would imagine. I don't think you want a Llanowar Elf going into your third turn, right? They're thinking about it, though, and they do want it. Interesting. Very interesting. Why would they want the elf? It's just because of Ouroboros next turn, right? I don't think it makes sense to do it for any other reason. Yeah, I don't think it makes sense to do for any other reason. Oh. That's almost good. It should be good next turn, though. Should I name Vampire to bait a little bit? Probably, yes. But then I feel really bad if they actually have a counterspell, right? So I guess I'm not doing that. Human and ship. And we should be in a pretty good spot here now that we drew that, I would imagine. Counters get Ward 1. I think I can live with that. Yup. So I don't want to give our opponent... I don't think I care about this damage, right? He's going to put the counter on the Siren. The Siren's just going to die. If I kill the Siren for 4 damage... So basically, because the Harvester is going to kill both the Siren or double Llanowar Elf, I need to decide, is a map token that my opponent will get worth 4 life? The answer to that has to be no, right? 4 life is a lot of life. So let's go ahead and Bitter Triumph, discard, target, yes, discard, and pay the ward. Totally fine with them using a spell to keep it alive, by the way. Totally fine. Yeah, I have no issue with that whatsoever. So we take the damage, and now we don't have to deal with the map. It's kind of a win-win, honestly. That's... pretty happy with that outcome, if I'm being honest. They get that back into play, dies immediately, and we should have it from the spot. Yep. Gets big, but shouldn't be enough Now we just get to Vein Ripper. So we don't have lethal, but we should have them cold with just Vein Ripper plus attack with flyers, because there should be no way for him to interact with both of these creatures plus sack creatures, right? I don't think there's any world where he can deal with both. Doesn't have trample, so I think we should have all of our bases covered. Yep. Very nice. Clean little 2-0 so far. That first match took an eternity. Probably. Well, we'll see how fast some of them go. I'm going to say, I can imagine a world where this is the last one if it goes a particularly long time again. This deck is so fun, though. I wish it was just like a little bit better. I would love to be able to justify playing it in Baltimore. Yep, I mean, we're just going to sneak this up. Presumably another mirror match, or a mirror match, rather. One thing I've learned from playing the mirror matches is Vein Ripper is the trump, because you just start basically chaining off of each other's graveyards, and if you're getting Vein Ripper procs and they're not, then you end up winning the game pretty easily. Let's do... I mean, I've got Passage if I end up drawing an Awaken, so yeah, let's just... Human... and Scholar it up. And we're just going to decline and discard 2 Vein Rippers. Another Esper Origins. Yeah, this is just... I'm a hater. I think Esper Origins is a fine card, but I don't think that's the direction that you should be trying to play the deck, basically. So, are we going for Overlord? The Overlord draw was good. My plan originally, I was just going to put a Vein Ripper into play. I think now I'm just going to Overlord and kind of see what happens. Just because putting a Bringer into play with 2 Vein Rippers basically means we're going to win the game. So I think you're just supposed to kind of go for the high roll. Yeah, we hit Bringer. Do I care about the Fate Reaver going into play? I mean, it's an extra Vein Ripper proc, kind of. I don't care about them getting it. I think I'm probably just supposed to decline. Let it all come into play off of the Bringer. Yeah, let's decline. I think declining makes a lot of sense. It kind of telegraphs that we already have the Kaviro, but, I mean, what are they going to do, right? I mean, it's not even like they could sit on a removal spell or a counter spell. We've got... Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they could have a... I mean, a removal spell doesn't do anything. They can't have a counter spell. I mean, we just jam here. I don't really imagine a world where anything goes wrong. Oh, I guess I definitely should have attacked first. Okay, so he gets to put a fatty into play. That's potentially very good for him. Yeah, I definitely should have attacked first. I missed out on some damage. I don't think there's one thing that they could put into play, though, that would be as good as all the shit that we're putting in, though. What you got for us? What you got for us? I mean, the best possible thing would probably be like, what did they do? Oh, Overlord. Yeah, I mean, Overlord is good because it gives them a chance to. I mean, there's no world where I do just take their Overlord, right? Because it exiles it, and that effect is still pretty good for me. I just get so much power though, and then I get all of the Vein Ripper procs too. Yeah, it's just my own bringer. Yeah, Vein Ripper just crushes the mirror match. I mean, if he were to hypothetically be able to bring her on his own this turn, he would literally just be taking 24 damage, right? 4x. Crazy. Crazy, crazy stuff. What you got for us, buddy? Yeah, I mean, he can't even realistically attack with the Overlord, right? Because he would need to be able to deal with our 6/6. Unless he just wanted to suicide it in to try and find more cards to mill, but that doesn't seem good enough. I mean, he obviously has no chance to win the game just playing. Yeah, he just passed and discarded Awakening. I mean, just can't beat Vein Ripper. That's what I've been saying. Vein Ripper just locks him out of the mirror match. Do I want Miosian for the mirror match? Maybe. Boarding for the mirror match is very strange. So no Fate Weaver, totally fine. Bitter Triumph, probably just nothing is enough of a focus that you care about. And then probably don't care about Awaken either, because the only permanents, like, not everybody has the same board, right? Like, the only realistic thing that you would want to hit with Awaken would be, like, a Vacuum of their own, and then they may not even have Vacuum. If they have Lantern, it's not even good against that. So I think that all makes sense, and then I think I'm down to trim a Meringue. I don't think I really want to cut any other cards, so let's see. What would I add for the 6? We didn't see a Cavern from the opponent, so I think Stroke is fine. And then, yeah, let's just do Vacuums, Rex, and a Miosian. I think this makes a lot of sense. I usually like bringing in Bat in the mirror match as well, but my list slightly changed. You guys saw I actually had 3 Bats and cut 2 of them for the Miosians. It's really interesting. Bat is another thing that kind of stalls the game out and dies to Harvester, which is valuable because obviously you're trying to kind of Vein Ripper combo them. I'm a little scared to cut all the Scholars, though, because without Bitter Triumph, you want to be able to discard the fatties that you draw. It's very important. So let's just run it like this. Let's play no Bats. I think the one of Miosian makes enough sense in that slot. Uh... Uh... Oh, I guess maybe the Miosian, because they could copy it, maybe that's a reason to not want the Miosian. Because I'm looking at this hand right now, and this hand is like, I can't even discard the Miosian to the Scholar, right? Because they're on the play. They could just copy it and ba-boom. Yeah, I think this is a pretty easy mulligan. And this hand is infinitely better. It's just got to be a Scholar, yes. I think every other card is too important. And I don't see any reason to not just jam this right away, make them have the answer, or make their life very sad. Am I gonna cycle the wreck here? I kind of think so. Oh, Scholar. That's fine. I could just Harvester it now and hope the top of my deck is kind. Interesting. I don't actually just care about the Scholar. Like, I don't need to Harvester it. Yeah, I want to draw my third land. I think drawing the third land is really important. I can live with that. Not quite the same thing, but it should, in theory, get the job done. I think it's just a pretty easy cavern, yes. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities that they would have Disdainful Stroke in their deck after sideboard like I do. So, miss out on a little bit of the color equity to make sure that I can play it uninterrupted when I decide that I want to. Second Vacuum, probably be holding on to that, because I could imagine a world where they have something like Maelstrom Pulse or something. So, yeah, I think we're just jamming our own Scholar. I don't see why not. Still not in a rush to Harvester or anything. Don't really care about a Scholar being in play. We care about our lands more than anything. Discard Vein Ripper pretty happily, and we're chilling. Ooh, they're hovering the vacuum. Are they gonna blow up our vacuum? And if they do blow up our vacuum, am I gonna remove my own? Oh no, I've got 2 Vein Rippers, so I guess not. Interesting. Discarding Bringer. So we're gonna let that happen, and then presumably with only 3 cards in hand, it looks like to me that means they're just gonna go for a Kavaro because they're down on resources. They're gonna force my hand on removing the Bringer. Oh, but the thing is, I don't actually... Oh, yeah, I don't even have to remove the Bringer, because if they Bringer, they just lose. I get all of this. So that means that they're actually just going to Vein Ripper. They're not even going to take... They're not even going to choose Bringer. They're going to just take a Vein Ripper. But then... I get to take their Bringer, which sounds insane. So yeah, I think we're just chilling. We're happy with this. Yep. And they get to remove. Unfortunately, I don't think I could have targeted it in response. I'm pretty sure it doesn't work that way. They're going to attack for 2, 14. And then we're going to take 6 from triggers. So we're going to be at 8. But I think we're happy with this outcome, though. Yeah, I think we're quite happy with this outcome. Crunch in, give me a free point. Yeah, they should have just taken that. Oh, I missed the stack trigger. I'm so stupid. That would have been a nice thing to show you guys as well. So you can actually change the stack triggers when you're targeting your opponent's Bringer. You can exile it first so it wouldn't come back into play. You can copy it and then exile it before it comes into play. I don't think it's going to matter, to be honest, but I think we are beyond far ahead, obviously. I do not want there to be 2 Bringers in the graveyard because that's one of the only ways that I could lose. So we are going to discard Scholar. I think we're pretty happy to just get the second Vacuum in play now. I think we're far enough ahead we don't care if they have anything like a Maelstrom Pulse. They shouldn't have this, though. That was, again, a mess up on my part. But I don't see anything that they can do. So I think we're totally happy. Just casting an Overlord. Probably supposed to remove their targets in response. Doesn't have the mana to do anything else. They get a Steam Core. They get a Steam Core. Yeah, that was a pretty good draw. 10-14, so we don't just win the game. But we're still 100% doing that, right? Because Bringer in Graveyard, there would be no way for them to put multiple Bringers in the Graveyard, presumably. Which is the only way we're losing. I mean, we're not even losing to that because we have Vein Ripper in play. I think it's just a slam dunk, no? Because alternatively, my other options are attack and plan to use Harvester ability. But I just don't have to do any of that. Bouncing both of his things, attacking for 14, sitting on double vacuum for Bringer is going to be good enough. So I have to name Dragon here for the second blue. And that should be game next turn. He did hit the Kaviro, but it's a little annoying. So now I'm obliged to remove Bringer. Oh, I guess Bringer doesn't actually do anything. Yeah, I guess Bringer doesn't actually do anything now because he would just die, right? He would just die to the triggers. And then he would only get... Yeah, so I'm just supposed to remove his stuff. That way Bringer doesn't even do anything. Remove Arden. Remove Tidebinder. Or, yeah, Tidebinder. And then I'm pretty sure I understand everything that's happening here. He targets Bringer, dies to Vein Ripper. He targets Myojin, takes my hand, dies. I think the only thing he can do to even live is to take my other Vein Ripper. And I don't think that's even good enough. It's definitely not good enough. I think we've got all the bases covered. Yup. So, boom, just crunch in with everything. Yeah. Opponent did it for us. Too easy. It's too easy. Alright, let's get a fourth match in. It's been a good time. It's been a good time, and things are going well. Yeah, I have a couple buddies that are considering playing the deck in Baltimore, and rightfully, as the way the makeup of the deck is kind of laid out, there's a million different ways that you can build the deck, and I think all three of us like different versions. So it's one of those things where there's not really a ton of consensus. I think even right now, at the best way to build the deck, but clearly things have been working out pretty well for us so far. Forest, Llanowar Elf. Is it Ouroboros? Is it Golgari? What are we dealing with? What are we looking at? What's up, Zeri Girl? A mountain. Oh, we are playing against that deck? I haven't seen that deck in forever. Alright, well, this is probably a town grader angle now, right? We lose one mill card, but we get a chump blocker. which I think is pretty valuable. We've already got the Kavairo, so we're not digging for any, like, thing in particular. We just, we don't want to miss the opportunity to mill a fatty. But I think we should be safe. I think we should... I don't think we die to anything in the immediate future. And I think the Chomp Blocker is worth the -1 mil. Yeah, I'm down. Plus, we desperately want our 4th land anyways. If we could not take 2 damage off this Awaken, I think we would be pretty happy with that outcome. Yeah, we're just going to take Verge and call it a day. You being a clingy girl right now, baby. Come on. Oh, baby. Ooh, Ouroboros. It's alright, baby. It's okay. You're okay. Well, things are only going to get bigger, so there's no reason to block this turn. And we are in a little bit of danger. Probably just are forced to awaken, because the Ouroboros just represents such a fast clock. Thankfully, still pretty far away from Delirium. Definitely not attacking. We don't care about the 1 damage. I just want to try and have a chump block in if it comes to that. You have to be marginally careful, because now that the Ouroboros is dead, unless we mill some stuff in addition to the Bringer isn't even necessarily a slam dunk anymore, just because the Ouroboros can be such a threat, potentially, depending on what else is going on. Yeah, pretty happy to get a chump block in now that there's no representation of him having ways to make his creatures bigger. Plus, if we do mill a Bringer, we just want to be able to do that, right? We just want to be able to do the thing. He's probably going to discard a creature if he can. I guess he doesn't care that much. Yeah, he's just discarding Lightning Strike. That's fine. And a Keen-Eyed Curator. He must have just drawn that, because otherwise there's no way. We need a Bringer bad. All right, we're in danger. We are in danger. That Keen-Eyed Curator is going to be a problem. A big problem. I don't have any way to remove it. Tough. Tough, tough, tough. Yeah, that poses a very real problem. I think I just have to copy their Ouroboros. As crazy as that sounds. I think that's the only thing that I can do with this Curator in play. I just get to make him so massive so quickly. And hope that it's enough. I don't like any of my other options, unfortunately. Land, creature, instant? Oh, sorcery. So he can give his Curator Delirium, but he can only give it +4/+4? I mean, I have to block that, right? Because if I block anything else, 5, 6, 7, 11, then I could die to a burn spell. So it just has to be the Curator, right? And then if he has, like, a shock or something to kill my Ouroboros, that's just, that's game. But I think it is what it is. Can't imagine a world where blocking FOMO makes more sense than blocking the 7/7. Oh, so he's not trying to give his guy Delirium. He's trying to get my graveyard? That doesn't do anything. Well, this is a pretty positive turn of events. Does that do anything? I mean, it does, right? I am probably pretty happy to discard that for a land that doesn't do me damage. Yeah. Let's go ahead and pick up the Verge. And then 16, I'm so close to just winning the game via combat. But if we weren't dead last turn, I don't know what our opponent could draw that would beat us this turn. Am I supposed to just jam Overlord, or am I supposed to... I feel like I'm supposed to play Scholar. My creatures are going to be big enough. I just want the chance to draw like a Greeter, or a Bitter Triumph, or a Harvester even. Just something else to double spell, because my creatures are going to be big enough. I think that makes sense to me. Alright, we didn't draw anything to double spell, unfortunately, but... I think we can just discard Passage, Cavern, play the Verge. I don't think playing Overlord does anything, because he's just dead next turn anyways. I would rather just bluff something, which I guess ultimately doesn't make that much sense either, because, well, our opponent can't play around anything, so if they draw a way to be able to go for the win, they would have to, but... Alright, the Ouroboros, the Kavaro Ouroboros play worked. It's a little bit of a gambit. It doesn't really, you know, come out all that often, but... Alright, I guess it's just a removal angle. Nothing else here looks particularly interesting. Yeah, good enough for me. So, probably pretty happy to kind of just trim. This is probably not an Arden matchup now that I'm looking at it. I think this is fine. I could cut a Scholar too, just because it's a little on the slower end. Basically, I think trimming a Vein Ripper is good. And then it's just a matter of, do I want the fourth Scholar or the third Meringue? Because they kind of serve the same function. I think the fourth Scholar is a little bit better here. It's the cheaper card. I don't think bouncing things are particularly good against the red-green haystack. And obviously, like, if they've got Ouroboros going with a lot of counters, you're, like, probably dead anyways. So I think this makes a lot of sense to me. I think there's a world where you could also leave the fourth Vein Ripper in and cut a Scholar that way as well. But I'm okay with this. I think with 4 Better Triumphs, we have enough of a backup plan to play a fair game. Yeah, and this hand is just excellent. Just excellent. We have a lot of removal. A way to get this bringer in the graveyard. We are chilling. Okay. Oh, fantastic draw. We are in business. We're just gonna sit on Bitter Triumph. I don't see any reason to tap out for Town Greeter here. Yep. I mean, yeah, we're just gonna kill it. I think there is an argument to be made to try and kill the other things around it and just block and then just bringer it back and bring her to destroy the board that way. Because obviously, with this current iteration, the Ouroboros is going to end up coming back. But I just don't think that we care that much. I think that we can deal with an Ouroboros when there's no other creatures in play, in theory. And I think we're just jamming Town Greeter now, right? Just because I want to be able to block, put an extra thing into play. I get to mill an extra card. I get to play a tap land, which is not nothing. Yeah, I think this is an easy Town Greeter. Because if I destroy the Bailout, then the Bailout just comes back with the Ouroboros as well. So I think this is the slightly better line. Okay. Can live with that. And then I think the second Verge means probably just playing this on black. Tursa. Yeah. And then hopefully he doesn't put a lot of creatures in the graveyard. Yes, we're good. We're happy. It's Ouroboros versus the world, and Ouroboros could win. It's not out of the realm of possibilities, but I like her spot. I'd be lying if I said I didn't. I would be lying if I said I didn't. Boom. Oh, he's had enough. All right, we got the 4-0. Very nice. Went up to number 17. I don't quite remember where we started. I think we were like 29 or 30, right? All right. Very cool to be able to show you guys a clean 4-0 with the deck. Pull it up real quick before we get into it. There are definitely still some changes that I would be interested in making. So like I said, there's really not a defined right way to build this deck. There's a lot of different things you can do. Right off the rip, I think I need to go down to 2 Cavern. 3 Caverns seemed fine, and maybe I'm just being a little greedy, or maybe I'm being overly cautious, actually, the exact opposite of greedy. But I'm a little concerned about 3 Cavern with 3 Awakened. I can imagine a world where I want to play that on 3 and then don't have the option. But I think between Town Greeter and being able to find extra lands, I think it's probably pretty good to just leave it as is. I don't think that's something that I am actually going to pull the trigger on changing. Although it is a bit of, there is a bit of turmoil there, of course. The sideboard, there could be plenty of work done. We didn't play against any of the matchups where we would want the duresses or the strokes or the negates, really. Heritage Rex and Ghost Vacuums, a little overlappy as well. The only cards that I'm incredibly confident that you need are the Bitter Triumphs and the Meogens. And like I said, I can't take credit for Meogen. I saw somebody else do that, but yeah, this is, I think, if you're looking for a deck to play in Baltimore or just anything even local, this deck is a fucking blast. This deck is so fun. I do not think that you're favored against Vivi, but then again, nothing is, right? Vivi's kind of a problem. So, yeah, if you're looking for a fun alternative, I'd say give this a try. I think, you saw a lot of the gameplay, some of the things, that I was thinking about. And, yeah, let me know how it goes. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Appreciate y'all. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.